At last, Martin Zubimendi has been formally unveiled as an Arsenal player. What we long waited for is finally here for him to be signing, putting pen to paper, holding that Arsenal jersey, and to know that everything is done and dusted. Anyways, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Thank you Thank you so much to all our new community members, our usual suspects, the regulars and semi-regulars, and the non-regulars. Thank you all for, choosing Football Tribe as your favorite sports updates channel, as your Premier League updates channel, and beyond. Anyways, today we're looking at Martin Zubimendi and Viktor Gyokeres. But we'll start off with Martin Zubimendi because it's official. The 26-year-old Spanish international is formally an Arsenal player and will be donning the just number 36. Reasons as to why he chose that, you and I will find out perhaps soon or later, but at least that's the shirt number he will be wearing in the Arsenal jersey next season, and is expected to be at Arsenal next week to start pre-season with the rest of the players as they do return back to the club to start their pre-season preparations. Remember, they do have some games to play down in Asia. That's, I think, in Malaysia and Hong Kong, in which they will play Tottenham Hotspurs, Newcastle, as well as AC Milan during those games. So he is officially an Arsenal player. Congratulations, Arsenal fans. You finally gotten what you wanted. We're talking about a player who almost joined Liverpool last summer, but at the last minute chose to back out of that move. Apparently, according to the changes with Jurgen Klopp, wasn't sure how Arne Slot was going to, cope with Liverpool's pressure and everything of that nature. But it's a deal that Arsenal have possibly worked on the longest, because they started negotiations for Martin Zubimendi during last summer when they were signing Mikel Merino. They had informed Real Sociedad that they were interested in signing both their midfielders in Mikel Merino as well as Martin Zubimendi, but did not want to sign both of them in the same transfer window, and which sort of gave Real Sociedad perhaps the easy way out of not having to do a midfield overhaul, as opposed to losing both of them in one window. So they chose to lose Mikel Merino last summer and subsequently Martin Zubimendi, who equally sought to stay at the club for another year there, the Basque born from the Basque region. So, I mean, he is a very, very exciting player, a very special player, a very technically gifted player, does read the game very, very well, quite versatile. While predominantly he plays as a number 6, I think he can slot in very, very well as a number 8 as well, likes to dictate the tempo or play. And I think for those of you that might have caught that video, unveiling video of Arsenal, they insinuated that he can raise the tempo, he can cool down the tempo, he's just good at it all round. He likes to anticipate the game, to read the game, and make the easy pass, the quick pass, but also he anticipates when he's going to do that tackle. He's not the most athletic of players, he's not the most physical of players, so he relies more on his intelligence than his physique more than anything else. So he's a very, very exciting player. Whether he will fit within the Arsenal system, I think that is without a doubt for me. I think he has every ability and capability to fit in that Arsenal team. However, whether he will thrive in the Premier League, that's a whole different question altogether. Because as we know, the Premier League can be sometimes physically very demanding. Sometimes it can be very, very fast-paced as compared to the Spanish La Liga, where he has been playing for the better part of his career, because he did graduate from the Real Sociedad B team and onto, the senior team. Now, of course, while Arsenal had started negotiations for him last summer, it wasn't a done deal. They had only had good conversations, built a good relationship with Real Sociedad and things of that nature, but the deal was far from done. It wasn't agreed until March, and remember, Arsenal lived with all sorts of anxiety, especially when Rodri suffered that long-term injury at Manchester City. Arsenal did wonder whether Pep Guardiola was going to go and try to persuade Zubimendi to join them, because he had been linked to the move to Manchester City. Then we started getting the rumors of Xabi Alonso possibly going to be named as a Real Madrid head coach. We all know he has acknowledged Martin Zubimendi that Xabi Alonso is his idol. So it begged the question of whether Xabi Alonso would try to tempt him and go to take him to Real Madrid. We all had those rumors during the course of this summer that Martin Zubimendi was being linked with a potential move to Real Madrid. Real Madrid fans liked him. Real Madrid liked him. They fancied him. They just never made the move for him. So sort of Arsenal lived with all that anxiety during the entire course of the season. But that is a deal that had been initiated by Edu Gaspar Dawood alongside his deputy then, Jason Aito, all who have since left the club. So then, and it wasn't until March, of course, we'll all remember that Andrea Bata was officially, unveiled as the new sporting director at Arsenal in March. And so it was around the March period that they got to seal the deal to agree personal terms with the player on a 5-year contract and, a few other details. They had an agreement apparently in principle with Real Sociedad to pay a little more than his exact release clause, which allows the club in Arsenal to pay that transfer fee spread out in installments rather than just paying the release clause at a go. And then, of course, the agreement they had in principle to wait to complete the deal until July as opposed to completing it in June because of what it meant on the financial books for Real Sociedad. They wanted to record it as a transaction done in a new financial year and things of that nature. So the two clubs had a very good relationship. That was there, but that's in March is exactly when Arsenal were able to seal that deal for Martin Zubimendi. Very, very good player, very exciting times. And now it is expected that he will be starting in that Arsenal holding midfield role, perhaps to play alongside Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard as the primary composition of Arsenal's midfield. And then, of course, in waiting, you'll have Mikel Merino, Arsenal trying to sign Christian Nogard. That deal should be finalized, I think, in the course of this coming week and possibly get announced. So Martin Zubimendi is Arsenal's second signing formally of the summer after Kepa Arrizabalaga, who joined from Chelsea for £5 million. So there you have it, Arsenal fans. He comes with a great deal of experience because he's, a Spanish national team player. You remember he did play in that game against England in the finals of the Euro 2024 in Germany as Spain beat England by 2-1. So again, very, very interesting times. So that's everything that was involved in Martin Zubimendi's deal. His release clause was about 16 million euros, but Arsenal apparently agreed to pay up to 65 million euros for reasons that I've just explained to you, that it allows them to pay for the player in installments as opposed to paying the 60 million euros in one go. Anyways, here is part of what he had to say after being, after signing his as a new Arsenal player. He said, "I set my sights on Arsenal because their style of play is a good fit for me. They have shown their potential recently and the best is yet to come. This is a huge moment in my career. It's the move I was looking for and one I wanted to make. As soon as you set foot here, you realize how big this club and this team are." So those were some of the words from Martin Zubimendi after joining as an Arsenal player. Now, do not discount Mikel Arteta's hand in this because he was very, very critical in these negotiations in convincing Martin Zubimendi, a fellow Basque player from that Basque region in Spain, to come and join Arsenal. Anyways, moving away from Martin Zubimendi, let's take the ride to Sporting Lisbon because Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Viktor Gyokeres. Now, Viktor Gyokeres, the 27-year-old Swedish striker, has been a target for Arsenal all throughout the course of the summer. They've been pushing for those deals hand in hand with that of Benjamin Sesko, but it looks like the Gunners have now pivoted to Viktor Gyokeres. His numbers are not questionable, arguably the best striker in Europe last season, but that notwithstanding, we do know for a fact that Arsenal had preferred to sign Benjamin Sesko. However, they've since pulled out of that race for Benjamin Sesko, primarily because RB Leipzig are not willing to budge on their asking price of 90 million euros for the 22-year Slovenian striker. So because they are not willing to negotiate on that fee, it's the reason, it's the reason as to why Arsenal have decided to take, a couple of steps back in pursuing that deal and focus on Viktor Gyokeres, who is literally desperate to join Arsenal. He's told every other suitor that his primary, preference would be to join Arsenal this summer, and he is trying to push for that move. He did inform Sporting Lisbon that he wouldn't be returning to the club for pre-season as was expected on July the 7th. That's tomorrow, Monday. So, and Sporting Lisbon have respected that. They are willing to grant him more time as the two clubs negotiate a transfer fee for the 27-year-old. Now, Sporting Lisbon are not willing to back down on their 80 million euro asking price, while Arsenal are only willing to pay about 70 million euros. But those negotiations continue between the two clubs to find an agreement. So there you have it, Arsenal fans. Personal terms, like I said, I already agreed on a 5-year contract, so that is out of the question. The player is really, really pushing. According to Fabrizio Romano, the player is constantly checking with his agents or representatives to check on the progress of the move, because he really, really wants to go to Arsenal. Apparently, he has also held talks with Mikel Arteta, who is shown him his vision for him in regards to how he fits into the whole Arsenal puzzle and the entire project at large. So that's why the player is eager to join the Gunners. So anyway, it's really, really exciting, but I do know for a fact that the choice in itself is one that may sort of split opinion, not right down the middle, but among a section of Arsenal fans. Of course, there are those that would have preferred Benjamin Sesko over Viktor Gyokeres, but But I know for a fact that there are many, many others that did prefer Viktor Gyokeres because he is well within his prime, more experienced, played more games, and he's shown that he is really, really capable of hitting the high numbers. So, for example, when you look at his numbers, primarily in the league last season, in 33 appearances, 39 goals, 7 assists, that's really, really rich. A 46 goal involvement in 33 appearances, while the season before that he had only managed 29 goals, which was quite many in itself, in 33 appearances with 10 assists. So that gave him a 39 goal involvement in a similar number of appearances. So in the Champions League, he scored 6 goals and provided 1 assist in 8 games. So really, that tells you the kind of caliber of player he is. But all across all competitions, I think he scored north of 50 goals, and that's what really, really is exciting. A lot of Arsenal fans are really, really hyped up for this transfer and can't wait it to get sealed. But let's see if a deal can be reached during the course of today, or perhaps even within the course of the coming week. But Arsenal are committed to getting the deal done, at least. Now, what is interesting for me, the other thing to mention here, is that Andre Bata had Viktor Gyokeres as his primary target, while Mikel Arteta apparently had preferred Benjamin Sesko. But I think also now, but Mikel Arteta was also open to Viktor Gyokeres as the number 2 alternative. But now the finances have determined where Arsenal are tilting to, because of what else they need to do in the transfer window, because we know they want to sign a left winger, and they are looking at Rodrigo Goes. We know they want to sign a backup for Bukayo Saka, and they're looking at Noni Madueke, who will do a full video on. And then we know they are looking to sign Ebeleche Eze as a backup for Martin Odegaard, or a competition for Martin Odegaard, but can also play left wing, right wing, depending on how Mikel Arteta does deploy him. We know that they also need resources to sign, backup players in the centre back, and they want to sign Christian Mosquera from Valencia. So, Arsenal fans and all football fanatics, do let me know what all that news means to you. How do you wish things to happen? Do you think Arsenal are valid to pivot on Viktor Gyokeres ahead of Benjamin Sesko, or your opinions are different from that? Otherwise, it's always a pleasure being with you here, guys. But if you're interested in learning some digital skills like coding, cybersecurity, as well as web design, do not forget to check out our friends at Ebo State. They are based in Kansanga, Kampala, Uganda. They do offer those trainings and offer career guidance. They do offer those trainings both in person and online training sessions, and help their trainees find jobs in the digital dynamic world at the end of those trainings. So if you're interested in acquiring those skills, I'll leave their link down in the description so that you can check them out. Otherwise, stay blessed and have yourselves a wonderful time. Peace.